Hello everyone, welcome to Sarah's Stitchery. My name is Sarah and this is my channel where I talk all about my cross-stitch journey. Today is Flosstube episode 41 and the date is August 4th, 2025. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm so happy you found me and you're joining me today. I hope you enjoy what you see and I hope that you will consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And I hope you'll find me over on Instagram at Stitchy Sarah Reads. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm so appreciative of those of you who keep coming back to watch my videos and leave me comments and interact with me. So welcome. Okay, let's get started. I am in the throes of getting ready to go back to school. If you're new here, I am a 4th grade teacher. And so my first official day back is going to be next Monday on August 11th. But if you are a teacher or if you know a teacher, you know that that's not your official start date is not when you go back, is what I should say. So I do plan on going into my classroom a couple days this week, I should say, not this week is here. I'm going to go in tomorrow and Thursday to get my classroom set up because once the official start date comes, I'm going to be busy with meetings and professional development and getting ready for Meet the Teacher. So I need to have that time to get in there and just get everything ready, get everything out, get everything organized and ready for my new group of students. So I'm just shifting my mindset from summer relaxation to back to school, back to work. So trying to start off the year on a positive note. I did want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has donated to my classroom from my Amazon classroom wish list. I truly appreciate all of your generosity and it will not go unappreciated by my students, that's for sure. I do want to say some thank yous. I know I thanked some of these people already in the last video, but I'm going to say thank you again to them. So I want to thank Cheryl, Michelle, Terry, Carla, Kathy, Trisha, Debbie, Christine, Julie, an anonymous donor, Kim, Karen, and Jody. Thank you so much. Yes, I got Julie. Thank you so much. I reached out to those of you who I was able to find on social media or those of you who I know in person. But if I did not reach out to you personally, it's just because I didn't know how to find you. So if you did donate something to me and I haven't reached out to you personally, drop me a comment or message me on Instagram and say, hey, that was me, because I would love to say a personal thank you to you. Okay, let's get started with the stitching. I have a giveaway winner to announce at the end of my at the end of my video. I have finished to show you. I have a couple of new starts and some progress on my whips, my works in progress. And then I had a little something I wanted to chat about at the end of the video that is not stitching related. But let's get into the stitching because that's why you're here. So I'm going to start with a finish. I literally finished this morning and I am stoked by it. I am thrilled. I love this one so much. Let me just show it to you. It is the Happy Hearts sampler by Birds of a Feather, which was remastered by Sherry over at Colorado Crossstitcher. She is she is recharting the Birds of a Feather patterns. I don't know if she's doing their whole repertoire of patterns, but she's doing a lot of them. And so you can find those over at Colorado Crossstitcher. But this is Happy Hearts sampler. I love this one so much. I started this on Valentine's Day this year with my friend Sarah of Handmade by Sarah W. You'll hear me talk about her a lot. She and I stitch a lot of things together. But we started this together and I'll bring you in a little bit closer. So I stitched mine, I should say, on 40 Count Cove by Roxy Floss Co. I don't know if that's a fabric you can get in their regular stock, but I got it from their fabric club. So I don't know if it's a one-off or if it's something they will stock eventually, but I thought it was perfect to go with these floss colors. I did use all of the called for, I believe they were all Weeks Dye Works, if I'm not mistaken, because I thought the color palette was just perfection. And so I wanted to stay true to the colors of the pattern because that was part of what drew me to this. I did do some personalization. There are a lot of opportunities for personalization in this sampler. So starting over here, I've got the initials K, M, J for my 3 children. Over here, I have an L for my last name. Down here, I have an S and a J for Sarah and my husband's name. Then down here, I have 2007, which was the year we were married. And then 8/11, because our anniversary is August 11th. So I kind of wanted to get this done in time for our anniversary. We'll be celebrating 18 years of marriage next Monday and 20 years of being together. So, and that's actually, like I mentioned earlier, my first day of school, and it's my husband's last first day of school. He's retiring after this year, and I'm insanely jealous. So it'll be his last first day of the school year. So we'll have to celebrate. We'll probably go out on Sunday night because we're probably going to be exhausted on Monday night and not up for celebrating anything. But yeah, I'll just bring you in close again just to kind of show you all of the details. It's just so pretty. You can't really tell in the camera here, but the letters are done in 2 different colors. One of the colors is onyx, which is this black color, and the other color, like, I can't even tell looking at it right now. I need my glasses on. I think the Y here and several of the other letters are done in like a blue color called Chesapeake, but together they all look the same color. But yeah, I'm just super proud of this. I certainly won't get this framed in time for our anniversary, but in due time it'll be framed. But I love this. I cannot wait to hang it up in my living room with some of my other favorite samplers. And yeah, I have really enjoyed not only stitching this with my friend Sarah, but I've been stitching this with some other friends. I found out when I was at StitchCon that Edith and Jean were stitching it, and so we got to take a picture together with ours. I found out that my friend Maggie with an I, she was stitching it, and my friend Trina just started it recently. So it's just fun, you know, when you are stitching with friends, or, you know, when you inspire someone else to pick it up and stitch it. I did just see that Cam the Stitcher just bought the pattern, so I'm super stoked to see her stitch it. I'll be really interested to see if she keeps the colors the same or if she puts her Cam spin on it and does a color conversion. But there we are. There's my finish. I love it. Okay. All right, let's talk new starts. I've had 2 new starts since I saw you last. Let me sit this over here. There we go. Don't want it to get wrinkly. All right, I've had 2 new starts since I saw you last. I don't think I showed this to you last time. So this is called Summer's Day. I got it from the recent Midsummer Stitch event hosted by Lindy Stitches. And Jed X Stitch is the designer here. And she was one of the designers who designed an exclusive chart for the event. And as soon as I saw this, I had to stitch it. So, of course, my friend Sarah and I, Handmade by Sarah W., we were like, we got to start this together. And so we both ordered the called for fabric. And as soon as our fabric arrived, we were like, let's do this. So let me show you. I've had so much fun stitching this. Like, this is the perfect summer stitch. I would like to get this done before I go back to school, like officially back to school. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, there we go. There it is, Summer's Day. It is stitched on the called for. I'm stitching mine on a 40 count, and the color is Dolomite by Fiber on a Whim. This color is just the perfect pink. I'm gonna need more of this because I could see so many things on this pink color. But here's where I'm at. I do look like I'm getting close to a finish, but there's a lot more stuff that goes on down here. So I still have a little ways to go, and I do need to come back up here and fill in these flowers. Those flowers are done with satin stitches in the petals, and so I usually save any specialty stitches for the end. So I'll do that. I'll do that the last thing, and it's just so pretty. I am using all of the called for. There's some Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, and a couple of them I used the called for DMCs. But this color palette is just perfect. It's perfect. On this fabric, like, wow. I did see that at the upcoming Needlework Expo, that Jed X Stitch has a few more new releases, and they are just phenomenal. Phenomenal. This is my first Jed X Stitch. It's not going to be my last. I know that she has a new one. I believe it's called the Ephemeral Sampler. It looks like it's stitched on a fabric that's very similar to this. And the colors in that pattern, I wish I had a picture of it here to show you. The colors in that design are just as stunning as this, and I cannot wait to stitch another of her designs. She just has such a great eye for like composition. Like, I love the big sun up here with the smile and this gorgeous like flower that's just kind of like reaching up towards the sun. You know, she has just a great eye for those kinds of details, and so I'm looking forward to stitching more of hers. So that is my new start of Summer's Day, and hopefully next time you see it, it'll be a finish. I am keeping that in this beautiful bag that I got from Starry Owl Stitchery. Sorry for the dog barking. I thought the colors were very bright and pretty for this bright, pretty, fun stitch. Okay, next I have another new start. So my friend Allison, you may know her on Instagram as AllieCat13. She just had a baby. Her baby is the cutest little thing I've ever seen, you know, with the exception of my babies, of course. We wanted to start a special stitch in honor of new baby's arrival, and Allison really liked the idea of doing a Plum Street. You know how she has that series of like stackers, like the 3 animals stacked up. She wanted to do one of those, and the one she chose is Tropic Troupe. Sorry for the picture on this. I stitch from my iPad, so I just scan everything in. But she wanted to stitch Tropic Troupe. Let me get in a little closer on these flamingos. This picture doesn't do it justice. But you've got the mom and dad flamingo, and then you can barely see it, but there is a little baby flamingo right there. It's very hard to see in the picture, but I'll just have to stitch it so you can see it. So we started this. She does have a hashtag welcome Baby SAL. And here is my start. Oh, I love this. So I'm always a top left starter, but I went ahead and did the whole border there. And I've been working on these beautiful tropical flowers and leaves. I'm stitching this on 40 count Campfire Smoke by Lapin Loops. Lapin Loops was another one of the meet and greets at the Midsummer Stitch. They are a husband and wife fabric dyeing team, and I really enjoyed hearing about their process and getting to know them, and just seeing their passion for what they do is really exciting. So I was super stoked to use one of their fabrics for this project. And I am using, I think most of the called for, looks like I'm using a mix of like Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. And again, another stunning, fun, colorful summer palette. So I think I would like to try to get this one done also before I go back to school. Just like kind of wrap up my summer stitching. Not to say that I'm not going to do any more, but just wrap up some of my summer stitching before I have to get back to work, get back to being serious. I've really enjoyed having time to myself this summer to do some stitching and just like relax and refresh. I am keeping that in a really cute little flamingo bag that I had gotten a while back from a Black Needle Society box. I was like, perfect, perfect. A flamingo bag for a flamingo project. Okay, those were my 2 new starts. Now let's talk about my whips. I believe I have 3 of them. Just look at my notes here. I have 3 of them. So this one is a Teresa Kogut. Let me put it on my board here. This one's a Teresa Kogut that I had started in, I can't remember if it was 2022 or 2023. Let me pull this out. I actually do have the pattern here. So this is called Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. When did this come out? I was thinking maybe there was a date or something here. 2022. So I believe I started it like when it came out. So this is probably a start in 2022. It's this beautiful sampler. It says, when this you see, remember me. And I just love that floral border. That's going to be a lot of fun to stitch. So I have a very small start. There we are. I recently rediscovered that I, had this, and then I wanted to work on it when I did my mid-year whip parade. I pulled this out and I was like, oh, this is such a sad start. And this is such a beautiful sampler. I know that Megan from the Seattle Stitchers, she stitched it and finished it. She changed the color of her house to blue and it looks phenomenal. And so I wanted to pull mine out and get some work on it. So as you can see, I've been working on that house. I just need to finish filling it in, and I got to fill in the windows, and then I'll be done with the house. I would like to get past the house so I can get to some of the more colorful stitching, maybe get to some of those border flowers where it's going to be a little more fun and interesting. I am stitching this on a 46 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax, and I'm using, looks like I'm using all DMC. I don't know if it's charted in all DMC or if I just, but there we are. There's my colors. The stitch count for this is 229 by 264. And yes, it is charted in all DMC, with the exception of 1 Classic Colorworks and 1 Weeks Dye Works, and I think I went ahead and just used the suggested DMCs for those too. So beautiful. I want to get some more work in on this one for sure, because it's such a pretty sampler. I'm keeping that in this bag, this beautiful bag that my mom made. My mom is Painted Leaf Co. on Etsy. Oh, this has got to be one of my favorites. I have my other favorite here too. I'll show you in a minute, but I love this one so much. It's made with Tilda fabric. It is phenomenal. So there's my Remember Me. Just making sure I keep everything together here. Oh, this next one is fun. This next one was a new start in my last video. So it's gotten a little more progress. I'm not even going to show you the pattern because you can tell what it is just by looking at it. Let me get my clips here. It's an animal cracker. Any guesses? It is Henny Penny. It's Henny Penny from Stacy Nash. She was a newer release. I believe she was designed for a retreat, and it has recently been released to the public, and she is just adorable. She's got this apron here. I do need to tie, I need to put her apron strings. I forgot to stitch her apron strings, but I got her all outlined. So all I gotta do is fill in this apron and fill in the white and her body, and she is good to go. I was stitching her recently. I went and met my friend Michelle, known as Michelle Lee Quilts on Etsy and Instagram. I met her at Chicken Salad Chick recently, and I didn't even think about the fact that I was bringing a chicken to stitch at Chicken Salad Chick, which just tickled me to death. I'm sure other people aren't as amused by that as I am, but I thought it was pretty funny. So one of the workers came up to us while we were while we were stitching, and she was like, oh, what are you guys doing? And I was like, look, I'm stitching a chicken at Chicken Salad Chick. I'm very easily amused. Probably why I work well with children. I am stitching this on a 40 count Old Gold by Fiber on a Whim. And when I get all that white in there, she's just gonna pop on this fabric. She looks so cute. Look at her. Look at that little chicken face. I love her. I'm gonna just kind of hold on to her and bring her when I have, you know, things to do that just require fill-in, you know, like stitching with friends. I do have a stitch day planned with my friends Karen and Michelle later this week, so I'm probably gonna have to bring Henny Penny with me. She's gonna have to come with me. And of course, you can't stitch a chicken without having a chicken bag to put her in. This is a bag from my sister's shop. Her name is Megan, and her shop is called Pepper Pot Shop. And I believe she has some of these chicken bags in stock. So if you need a chicken bag, head over to Pepper Pot Shop, because this is so stinking cute. So I actually had another chicken stitch in here that I took out to put Henny Penny in. I think I'm gonna need more chicken bags, okay? So Mom, Megan, chicken bags. and then lastly, let me pull up this pattern. Lastly, I have a stitch along. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm doing Henny Penny also with my friend Sarah from Handmade by Sarah W. I told you, we stitch a lot of the same things. We like a lot of the same things. All right, so we're doing this one together too. So this is a stitch along that is in the Just Crossstitch magazine from Sprouting Lupine, I'm not sure how you say that. So this was the spring section. And let me show you the summer section, because I have finished spring and I am starting summer, so I'm really excited. So this is the summer section. You've got a frog in there. Is that like a bird head in that wreath? Not sure. Got a chrysalis. Looks like a grasshopper down there, or a cricket. So yeah. So I finished spring, finally. There's a lot of stitching in this. I finished spring, and now I'm getting started on summer. Sarah's been working on summer. Hers is looking phenomenal. And here it is. Oh my gosh, I love this one so much. I'm stitching it in all of the called for DMC colors, and I'm stitching it on the called for fabric, which is Into the Veil by Be Stitch Me. I'm stitching on a 46 count, and it just looks so good. I love this nest with the bird's eggs. Look at this little snail. He's so cute. Got a bee over here. Oh my goodness, a butterfly up here, and this moth. It's just so good. It does take me a little while to stitch because there are like so many color changes, but the overall effect of all the color changes is just stunning. I mean, it's like nature. There's all kinds of colors in nature, and you know, I think she's really doing a great job of capturing, you know, each of those seasons. I have seen, you know, fall and winter, because she has released the picture of the full pattern. So it'll be fun to go from a spring palette to a summer, down to fall and winter, and just the whole thing together is just going to be so good. So, so if I didn't mention it already, this is from the Just Crossstitch magazine. Spring and summer have been released. Fall has not yet. So I would like to try to finish summer in the summer so that I can start fall when fall arrives. So I've got some stitching ahead of me to do. But that's my nature's journey. It is so pretty. So that's what I've been working on. I have just, like I said, I've really enjoyed my stitching time this summer, and I'm gonna miss having so much time to stitch when I go back to school, but I'll appreciate the time that I do get, right? And let me show you the bag I'm keeping this in, because I did mention that I was going to show you my 2 favorite Painted Leaf Co. bags. I showed you one already. This is the other one. I love this one. My mom had made a vinyl front version of this a few years ago, and then she went ahead and bought more of this fabric and made the full fabric bags, and it's just so good. I mean, you got to put a nature stitch in here. Look at all the animals and the plants, the rocks, the birds. It's just so pretty. So there we go. Okay, now I have a giveaway winner to announce, so let's talk about that. I mentioned in my last video that a friend named Candy had given me some kitted up projects to give away when I saw her at StitchCon. She had cleaned out her craft room and let go of some things that she realized that she just wasn't going to stitch. And we all have that problem, right? I know I have lots of things kitted up that I'm probably not going to get to. And she was so generous to give me these kitted up projects to pass on to some of you who will stitch it, because there's just not enough time in our days, in our lives, to stitch all the things. So the one that I showed last week was this hands-on design, Let's Talk quilting pattern. And along with the design, along with the pattern, I don't want to show the pattern, but you got the fabric, the floss, even some needles. So this is ready to go. So I chose a winner. You just had to use the word quilting in your comment. And the winner I chose was Heidi's Homemade. Heidi's Homemade. So if that's you, excuse me, if that's you, send me a message on Instagram or shoot me an email. All of my contact information is below. And let me know what your address is, and I will get this in the mail to you so that you can get started on it. So congratulations. Like I said, I do have more kits to give away. I think I'm going to spread them out a little bit, especially with school starting. I don't want to put one more thing on my plate to have to think about. So I think maybe every other video I'll do a giveaway of one of these, just kind of spread it out a little bit. So anyway, that's all the cross-stitching talk. I wanted to talk books with you guys real quick. I used to, a long time ago, I had a channel, I think my channel was called Stitchy Sarah Reads. I had a channel called Stitchy Sarah Reads, and I talked about cross-stitch, and I think I talked a little bit about books, and then I kind of got away from it. And in the last few years, I've gotten like way more into cross-stitch, and my reading life has kind of fallen off a little bit. I still read, and I've still read, you know, over the last few years, but certainly not to the extent I was reading. And so in the past, like I was very involved in like the bookish community, and, you know, I knew all the authors, I knew all their books, I knew what books were coming out. I had a list of things that I wanted to read. And so I was very, you know, entrenched in that community. And once like I discovered that there was a very thriving cross-stitch community, I kind of, you know, really immersed myself in that. And so lately, you know, when I go to like find a book to read, like I don't really know where to look anymore. You know, I used to be very involved in a group on Goodreads, and I do pop on there and just kind of see what the ladies are reading sometimes, but I haven't really been partaking in book talk. It's kind of like I have imposter syndrome. Like I feel like I don't get to talk about books with them because I'm not really as involved. So I just kind of lurk in the group. I'm sure none of them watch my videos, so they don't know I'm lurking on them, which might sound a little creepy. So I do that a little bit, but you know, I used to listen to like bookish podcasts. I used to follow a lot of bookish accounts on Instagram, which I still follow them, but I think because I mostly engage with cross-stitch content, that it's just not showing me those things as much. You know, so like I just have a problem, like when I want to find a book to read, I just don't know where to look anymore. I don't know what's out. I don't know what's good. So my question to you is like, how do you find out about books? I also used to be involved in book clubs. I started a book club in my last neighborhood that I used to live in about 10 years ago. They're still going strong. And I started a book club here in my neighborhood, and I just don't participate in any of those anymore. So I'm just not, I just feel very out of the loop. I don't have people to talk about books with. I don't have people to get recommendations from. And honestly, I feel like I'm just rediscovering who I am as a reader. You know, like before I knew like who I was as a reader. I knew what I liked to read. I knew who my favorite authors were. And, you know, I'm just kind of like trying different books out these days just to kind of see like what's striking my fancy. And like literally I went to Barnes & Noble with my daughter about a month or two ago, and I just like picked up books and just looked at them, and if it sounded interesting, I bought them. And so I will tell you about one book, and I'm very, very rusty about talking about books, so don't expect any very enlightening book talk from me. But I did find this book. It's called 3 Bags Full. It is a sheep detective mystery, or a sheep detective story. Yeah, it's a mystery, which I read the back and I was like, okay, so there's a murder. So the shepherd is murdered and the sheep resolve to solve his murder. And I was like, that sounds really weird. It was kind of weird, but I really liked it. They solve the mystery. They are determined that their shepherd, his murder is not going to go unsolved. And so it's just it was a really fun story. And it's just like, I don't know how the author did it, but she like got in the minds of sheep. Like, how would a sheep think? You know, what questions would they come up with? There was one part where the sheep were just like coming up with all the questions, and like some of the questions were really silly. But it's just like, I just found it very interesting that the author here is Leonie Swan. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But I found it very interesting that she was able to tell the story from the perspective of a flock of sheep. So I was like, that's just weird enough to sound interesting. And it was. I told my friend, I have a friend who used to live here with me, and we talked books all the time. We read so many books together, and she moved to California several years ago. And so I feel like maybe that also was part of it. Like, I lost my book friend. And so I just kind of wasn't reading as much anymore. And so when I told her about this, she was just like, okay. So I don't think she watches my video, but if you're watching, Noelle, it was good. It was translated from the German, so I guess this author is German, but it was very well translated. I didn't have any issues like understanding it, or there wasn't anything that sounded like strange or anything. So it was fun. But like I said, like I didn't know anything about that book. I just kind of went into the bookstore and picked something up that I thought looked interesting, which could go in your favor sometimes, or you could end up spending money on things that you don't like very much. But all that said, I think I just want some ideas about, like, not necessarily book recommendations, unless you have a really good one. I did get some good book recommendations from some friends at StitchCon, but more so I want to know, like, how do you find out about books? How do you discover books that you think are interesting, or authors that you think are interesting? I did start listening again to a podcast that I used to listen to religiously called Currently Reading Podcast. I listened to an episode of theirs today, so I jotted down some of the titles. I also used to listen to a podcast called What Should I Read Next by Anne Bogle. She is very, very good. So I'm just like dipping my toes back into the reading scene. I do mostly listen to audiobooks because that's something I can do and stitch, right? So 2 for the price of 1. And I do read on my Kindle a little bit, but I find mostly that I do audiobooks. And I use the Libby app, so I'm not spending any money unless I go to the bookstore and buy something. But yeah, Sorry, that was a long tangent, but I hope some of you have some good suggestions for me. And yeah, I'm just ready to kind of dive back into the reading world. I'm always very like in tune with like what kids are reading. Being a teacher, I like to stay up on the popular like picture books. I read a picture book to my students every single day of the year. They love it. I'm telling you, you're never too old for picture books. They're not just for little kids, they're for everybody, because some of those picture books have really great plots, and they have really great like jokes or like you know, nuances that littler kids aren't going to get, but my bigger kids get, you know, and it makes them giggle. So I feel like I'm pretty in tune with what kids are reading, but I need to read things for me too. So, you know, I mostly read like literary fiction, mysteries. I'm not really like a romance reader, but I'm not opposed to it. Maybe I just haven't found my niche with that. I don't know. But anyway, all right, I'm going to stop talking about books. I just got like really excited about it. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are a teacher like me, or if you work in a school, I hope that the beginning of your school year is fantastic. If you have children that are in school, I hope the beginning of their school year is just wonderful, and that they love their teachers and they're excited about going back and seeing their friends. And yeah, so I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye.